Hello, and welcome to the Wheel and Chill Show. I am Kritter XD, here, one of your several co-hosts. Tonight is a very special night. I'm incredibly excited because mere hours before we went live, a rumor was confirmed by Watt Series that we have our Elias casting. Like, do, what I do, like, horn, sound the horn, sound the horn. Very excited. Okay, so before we talk about that, because that's going to be first, we're also going to talk about Egwene, and we're going to describe, we're going to talk about how she's different in the book and the show, and what that means for her story going forward, but first, we're definitely talking about Elias. So, to get started, we're going to talk about our special guest. Before we get into Elias, we have a special guest tonight that I am very, very happy to introduce you to. This is Jess, aka Amyrlin's study, who is here with us to talk about Elias and Egwene. So, Jess, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Amyrlin Study. I also have podcasts, Valon After Dark, that I do with Recapacidai and Nameless, and, I'm around.
Okay,
yeah.
Jess has links in the description of this video.
I get the being around thing.
That was beautiful. I think, we're all kind of just around, Jess included. Yeah. Jess also, very importantly, is working with me on the social media team for WattCon. So,
cool.
whatever you see, the social media posts, that's us, more or less. That's us and a few other people. So it's fun. It's been fun working with her on that. If you don't have your WattCon memberships yet, what are you doing? I should probably get over there and get them.
I need to get mine.
Y'all have had different people answering questions recently, right? On your stories?
Yeah. We've been posting videos about the WattCon builders, who are like the people who are planning, working on programming, working on the social media, the marketing, working on booking the venue and all that stuff. We're interviewing them on about their favorite Wheel of Time characters. So that's exciting. Anyways.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out. Everybody go check it out. It's cool. It's fun.
Go check it out. WattCon is all over social media, like all the rest of us. Speaking of the rest of us, Winespring, why don't you introduce yourself?
All over social media, like Egwene, all over Tavern Cardon.
Let's keep this to no spoilers except for books 1 and 2 for the beginning, and then once we start talking about Egwene, I will throw up the spoiler flag, and then we can go from books 1 to 14, but for the beginning of this, we are going to keep it to books about 1 and 2, because that's what's probably going to be relevant for our speculation about Elias. So anyways, Winespring, why don't you...
so chill out.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Winespring Cafe, winespringcafe.com. It's the website with all the awesome recipes that are, generated around the world of the Wheel of Time. You should definitely check it out, winespringcafe.com.
That's also in the description of the video on YouTube. And Tavern, why don't you introduce yourself?
Tavern. I do art and stuff. No, I have TikTok. I do some merch. So I have.
Did you say you fart?
I think so.
I said art, but fart works.
I fart and stuff.
I'm a human.
Me too.
I'm a human-like tavern, I guess. But anyway, so I've got merch on Redbubble, Tavern on Redbubble. We also now have Wheel and Chill 16-ounce frosted mugs for sale on what's it called?
Zazzle. Yeah.
Zazzle.
Yeah, there'll be a link somewhere. And
I just ordered 2, so I'll show it off soon.
She went there now,
I've got one.
or before.
Back there. It's right by my dusty wheel mug.
That's
She's got
right.
one way back there.
Hey, yo.
Amazing.
Yep, pretty exciting.
So that's it for me, and I'm ready to rumble.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to be real quick because I want to talk about Elias as soon as possible. I'm Kritter XD. I'm on TikTok. I am Egwene Alvear on Twitter, so I'm very passionate about the latter part of our stream today because Egwene is my favorite character. I'm also on Instagram and Twitch and YouTube, and I have a Discord that you should get on if you feel like having a good time. Okay, let's talk Elias. Okay, let's do this. Are you guys all ready for this? I have the article pulled up, so here we go. Okay, so apparently Gary Beadle has been confirmed by Watt Series to be Elias. So can we all do a little Elias dance?
All right.
First of all, I just need to say that they're keeping the tradition of making literally every person in the show hot.
First things first, 100%. That's
Super true.
He's a good-looking man.
He is.
Well, clearly, you've heard of my casting. Thank you.
He is. He is.
Easy to watch. Easy to watch.
I feel like I like how he's got like the gray in the beard because you know he needs to be weathered in that way, like elder in a way. So I think that works. I think he looks awesome. Obviously he's not gonna have glasses, I assume, in the show, but generally just to look at him, I'm like, yes. I'm gonna sign off on that one. Would you, just by his appearance, do you think he looks like aged enough? Like they can make him weathered enough to be like a mountain man? How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I think I like his look is lovely, delightful.
He looks
Absolutely, for sure. Looks great. I can't wait to see more ruggedness. Yeah,
Me too.
I feel it
effects and
for sure.
makeup- Their effects and makeup department is on point.
They are, yeah.
So I have no issues. I'm sure he'll look amazing.
I feel like this is one of those just rub a little dirt on it and we are spot on. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So let's go through how this happened. All right. So obviously, we are using Watt series as our source. They are the sleuths of the century. I am so impressed by the things that they unearth. It's absurd. The show, as far as I know, unless I am behind, the show hasn't confirmed it. So I want to put that caveat in here. Watt series, though, looked at his curriculum vitae, which has recently been updated to include Elias. So that is the confirmation that they got, which feels legit to me. And there was also speculation in January that he might be Elias because it was Arnus Federovicius who commented under a comment of Gary Beatles on like a photo on Instagram, a wolf head, like the wolf head emoji. So everyone's siren bells went off and we were just like, what? So,
red flag.
So speculation confirmed. That's basically it. Yeah. So here's the curriculum vitae. Also, like, bless you, Watt series. If you aren't following Geeky Airy on Twitter, by the way, like that was the first tweet that I saw. She was the one who kind of broke it on Twitter, as far as I know. Watt series has
so fast.
Watt series has a Discord. Like, holy, we love them. And so, yeah, here's this curriculum vitae. We got Wheel of Time season 2 Elias, various Jordan Studios. Like, so, you know, as far as I know, this looks pretty legit. Jess, what do you think the odds are that this is not going to be Elias and we're all freaking out for nothing?
I mean, given Watt series' record for being thorough in their investigations and not putting stuff out there until they're like as positive as they can possibly be, I trust this information.
Yeah.
I do too.
Oh, like, yeah.
He's all up in my business. I just fed him. I tend to agree with that. I feel like Watt series has done really well not jumping the gun on things. And, you know, like they kind of tweeted about the wolf head, like, ooh, what do we think? But they didn't just call it until they had this obvious, the CV, which Wheel Uptime in the comments. Thank you for clarifying for us Americans. Yeah. We don't always call our resumes CVs in the United States, but that's essentially what they are. It's like a longer resume. So... yeah, in case you were curious, that's what that is. So that all that being said, thank you, Geeky Airy and Watt series, for giving us some life in this in the time of the Great Longing. But now we can. But now let's speculate, shall we? Let's speculate. What do we think is going to happen? How is he going to be introduced?
Well, I mean, as we discussed earlier, you already called it on TikTok. I was thinking the same thing when I first saw the tweet. I think Wheel Up Times actually said it in chat as well. Not sure if it's the general consensus, but we think, if I can quote you as well, Kritter, that they may be mixing Elias and Huron into one character, and that he will travel with Perrin as a mentor.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because if you're not super familiar with Elias, I guess we didn't really explain what he is, but we're doing spoilers for books 1 and 2. In the books, you meet Elias in book 1, and we find out that he is a wolf brother, and that he can talk to wolves like Perrin can. And so he becomes a mentor of sorts and kind of like shows Perrin that there's a way to be a human while being a wolf brother without kind of like losing your identity. And so he's a really important mentor to Perrin for a certain period of time in the books. Everyone was missing him in the first season, but I, for one, thought it was possible to introduce him later, because he made a brief appearance. I mean, a very impactful but not long-lasting appearance in the first book, and it felt like he could make that appearance in a different book. And I feel like it makes sense to throw him in there instead of Huron, who has a lot of the same powers. Elias has great tracking and smelling abilities, a lot like Perrin does, in order to, narrow down the possibility, or narrow down the cast, and just sort of like eliminate some of the quote unquote fat. I mean, a lot of people love Huron, but I think he's a character that we can lose. Winespring, would you agree with that, or do you have a different theory for when he's going to come in?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Kind of even drawing a blank about Huron. So having them combined for me, and maybe some other people who haven't read it in quite some time, isn't stressful. No. It could be great.
Not that worried to lose Huron. Okay, Jess, do you have thoughts about this? Are you on this train, or you have other ideas?
I like the idea. If it happens that way, I will miss Huron and Julian's whole interaction, like their whole thing about one of them being a thief taker and the other one being a thief catcher, and the differences and how they really hate each other. And I think that's a nationality thing, but I don't know. I think that's just that little side bit there where they just have this bromance happening. I will miss that if we don't have Huron. But it makes sense to do it this way. I would love to put a theory out there that we're going to have Huron. He's going to be Shannarian just like he is in the books. And while they're on their way to Tyr, Perrin is going to come across him in the woods, and it's going to go down in a similar way. But that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Really, to do it that way.
Yeah. Also, at this point, we haven't been introduced to Carrion at all. I mean, we don't know where Rand is going. We talked about that last week. We don't even know if that city's even appear in the second season. I mean, we still haven't seen Camelin, right? So, I'm not sure if Julian is not going to show up until much later. So I miss hearing, because I actually enjoyed hearing, and what you just said, that their interactions were great.
Yeah.
Given how they have stretched out Perrin's unveiling, right, throughout the first season, where he was backseat, and they just kind of gave you hearing in one, sight in another, whatever. Then I can see where season 2 is a mentorship, and where they would combine the two. Because Huron kind of helped him a little bit, but not as much as Elias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, in the book, they even took Huron's ability, and they were because once Huron got pulled into the portal world or whatever, right? He got they were oh, Perrin can do this. He's a sniffer too. They're he's not a wolf brother, he's a sniffer, because we don't know what wolf brothers are. So, and some people would think that he's a dark friend because of that, or that he can channel, and panic would ensue or whatever. And for some reason, at least, the Borderlanders had come to accept Huron as a non-channeler who could just have this super special power. So I tend to agree. There are a couple Huron moments that will be kind of to lose. For example, well, shoot, I guess I can't talk about that because it's not spoiler time yet. There's something that happens between Huron and Rand near the end of the series that is kind of sweet, and that I will miss. But again, this is a massive, massive series, and so you gotta cut the fat. And if that little heartwarming moment between Rand and Huron will mean that the show is better overall, then it's worth it to me. So
cut it.
Cut it. Get it
Get
out.
it out of here.
Get it out.
I mean,
Dun,
we've got what 2,600 named characters. We don't probably
Cut
need
it.
all of them.
Gotta cut it.
A lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So
I'm just
So
waiting
many.
for the news that the budget has been doubled per episode. So I'm holding out for Jeff Bezos to do that for us.
and the episode per season.
Evidently, the visual effects budget for the second series has been increased significantly. I don't know if you guys have heard that, but that's what
I wasn't.
Elias was
That'd be
talking
awesome.
about it yesterday on his live stream. So we've got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah.
Hey.
I just remember reading something recently. I don't think it was Lord of the Rings. I think it was a completely different show. And I wish I could remember what the hell it was. But they were saying, was it BioShock? I think I shared it with. They were saying something about 10 million an episode is what they were going to spend on this show. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was Lord of the Rings, but that's a lot of money.
I mean, Lord of the Rings was supposed
Yeah.
to be the most that is supposed to be the most expensive show ever made, and so that's
Mhm.
what all the
That's a lot.
articles are reporting. And so
Wow,
I
wow,
just
wow.
want some of that sweet, sweet Lord of the Rings money. Like,
Yeah.
give it to me. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Want some Gimli
Give us
cash.
that
I want some
Tolkien
Gimli
cash.
cash.
Give me that Tolkien cash. Yeah. Right. So, is
Exactly.
there any other way? So the running theory that everyone agrees with is that Elias is going to replace Huron and go on the hunt for the horn with Perrin and presumably Loyal, because Loyal got stabbed by the dagger, and it feels like he would probably have to chase Fane as well. And that's clean. I love it. He can be a mentor to Perrin almost immediately. And, they can get this, like, vibe where they're, like, like the Spider-Man meme, like, you like, like, your eyes are golden, but, like, whatever. So that
Whatever.
that checks out. But before we move on to the Egwene, I keep doing that today. Like, that's
Yeah.
how I
It's
used to
cute.
pronounce
It's
it in my
Do
head
it.
when I was
Egwene.
reading the books. Egwene.
Egwene.
Before we get to the Egwene deep dive, is there any other way that they're going to introduce Elias? Like, give me some wild speculation. I want to hear something crazy, because I don't want just one theory to be the theory coming out of the Wheel and Chill show, just in case we're wrong. You know what I mean?
Maybe he doesn't join them for the hunt. Maybe they just run into him. Because Elias is notoriously,
Isolated.
isolated. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's very
like
reclusive.
a hermit.
So
Yeah.
the only other time he came out and actually spent time was during the whole slog. Well, my slog, anyways. But yeah, so it would be interesting if they met and he only hung out for a little bit, kind of just sort of like what they did with Tom, where he came in for like an episode and then he was gone.
He's a
Mm.
wisdom
Episode
blast.
Just like an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
a
that.
wisdom
So
bomb.
it's not that
Yes.
so he doesn't go with them, but he does come in, takes a couple of jabs and takes off.
Okay.
Yeah, leave you wanting more. That's a good way to do
Yeah,
it. That's
a
cool.
lot of people. So that would be a lot more like his role in the first book. He shows up, he imparts some wisdom, and then shit goes down, and they get separated again, basically. I don't hate that. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
A little wilderness encounter, Similar vibes. Like, none of us are saying that he's going to show up in Tar Valon, because he's
No.
technically a warder, right? So none of us
Yeah.
are saying he's going to be there with his Aes Sedai and he won't have broken up with her yet, right? So
He won't be
Oh.
near a big city. He won't be in
Huh.
any big city, I don't think.
unless he's at a different stage in his life.
Maybe.
I
Possible.
kind of like the idea of he doesn't join them right away. Whether Huron is there or not, he doesn't join them right away, and actually, like, maybe Perrin gets separated from the group in some way and runs into him, and then they have like some bro time in the woods, just broing out real hard, and
Some travel days.
learn a wolf
Yeah.
shit, and just being bros and like wolf bros, and
Totally.
yeah, and I mean that's something that they could put over the course of like maybe 2, maybe 3 episodes, where it just we cut over to them a few times to learn more about what's going on while other stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Like short scenes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping on what Jess just said, you wanted wild. Here's a wild theory. Okay? When she was talking, it just came to me. What if, since Rand is not with them, what if Aaron goes through the portal and meets Elias on the other side of the portal.
How would Elias have gotten on the other side of the portal?
Maybe he's in that world. Who knows? Remember, it's a separate world.
Okay. That is a
I don't
crazy
know.
theory.
You said wild.
Crazy. You said wild. I'm giving you wild. He meets on the other side of the portal, gets some knowledge, and then comes back.
That works.
Who knows?
I think going along with Jess's theory, it could work that because in the books there's just a pivot from that because it's great. But I had another thought too.
You wanted wild. I gave you wild.
I like it, but like it would
believe
make
it.
sense.
I'm just.
The books have multiple groups tracking the horn at once, right? We've got the Rand group that gets waylaid in that weird parallel world, and then the other band that's like still trying to track the horn even without Rand and Loyal and Huron, and so with Perrin, right? And so they could have like a split where Perrin's off by himself, but him and Elias is trying to help him get back to his people, like in some way. I don't know. So I think that could work for like a one or like a two episode arc or something like that. I think that could. I don't hate it. I don't hate that at all.
I'm shooting for Portal Elias.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. I love it.
With so few like episodes and so much content, I don't think I would want it to have a whole lot of like multiple episodes, like screen time.
I actually agree with Jess a lot. Yeah.
Of the
like
Perrin
Jess's
Elias
idea.
arc?
Like over multiple episodes, like small, just getting introduced to it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I think that doing it that way allows you to sort of consolidate in a lot of stuff, like the initial, hey, this is what's going on with you, and then the more deep dive stuff, here's how you retain your humanity stuff. Like, they could do that over the course of, 2, maybe 3 episodes, where we're not flashing back to them a lot, but, it's like they're obviously off doing their own thing. Perrin is learning shit. We are simultaneously learning shit. Like, I feel like it could work.
Yeah,
I
like that.
like
I totally could feel that.
I think it could too.
I like the whole Perrin and Isla thing, right? Where they have their moment. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
I think Perrin does need to have more than feelings this season, though, or some people are going to riot.
Please.
Just give us
He needs to kill some shit.
Give
He
us
needs to kill something.
Give us some axe moments. Like that's I've got random moment it's Roger Duran in the chat. So we got to get Perrin moving, and I think more than just mentally. I think both mentally and physically, we need Perrin to get a move on, so people don't get bogged down.
Great way to word it.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, in Perrin's defense, he did have one very significant act moment, and now he is really going through it. So,
I mean,
I don't
we
know
should
if
give
he's
him
going
a
to be
break, I
like
guess.
super fun. But yeah, I feel like we need to start seeing like character momentum with him like soon. But now that we've gotten through the first season, which was very Aes Sedai focused, and now that we know who the Dragon Reborn is, we know who the very powerful channelers are, we know that something's going on with Matt and something else is going on with Perrin, like now we are able to, and we've established like the whole Aes Sedai thing, now we can pivot to focus on the kids, and I'm calling them kids, they're adults, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And we can pivot to focus on them, and start really kind of sifting this stuff through and getting things moving.
Yeah. Yeah.
It leads us to the big change in the show that there are 5 Tavern.
Which I love so much.
Yeah, I mean,
Me too.
Yeah, we've
So
called it
much.
before. They were Tavern in their own right throughout the books. So yeah,
Just makes it easier.
Yeah, love it.
I'm fine with that. Welcome, Sith guy. Just joining. Did I miss the Elias talk? Well, we're winding down, but you know what? It's been great, and the VOD will be living on in infamy. So you can circle back and watch it whenever you want. So
We passed the vibe check, my friend.
So going back to the casting, which is we talked about what we think he's gonna do. This guy has tons. If you look him up on IMDb, he has so many acting credits. It's like crazy. There's nothing like that I could say that everyone would be like, oh yeah, there's no Game of Thrones on that list, but it's a lot. And so,
is he British?
I actually don't know that.
Oh, I don't know either.
Let's see.
I'll be honest with you, I've not seen him in things here. His face looks familiar, like it would be familiar enough. So I'm wondering if he's overseas. If he does a lot of work over there.
He's got over 70 credits in his resume, including roles in theater, films, and television. One of his more recent roles is a part in an award-winning mini-series, Small Axe, available to watch on Prime Video. So, if you want to check him out in action...
Oh, I have to check it out.
And we are corporate shills on this stream, so get your Prime Video membership and go check out that thing, you know? Okay, I'm just telling you.
Be a corporate shill for Amazon yet, and I'm really disappointed.
Man, you gotta get in there. It's fabulous.
Especially given how unreservedly delighted I was by the show, like, for 98% of it. Like, I really would have thought they would have accused me of having my lips attached to Amazon's ass much, much before this.
You know, it's not...
You've earned it.
You have earned it.
Thank you, Roger. You said he's British.
Oh, Brit, thank you. Oh, Roger Durden gave us the deets. Okay, so he's British, so we're gonna get the same.
You guys are awesome.
I know, like the chat is. You guys are clutch.
They're on it.
Wait, Rob Christensen in the chat is saying Fane was in that show too. If that's true, that's even
and that
more
Small Axe
tempting.
one.
Small
The
Axe.
chemistry's been building.
Gotta go look.
I'm gonna let's see.
I would really love to see
your best
Johan
Jeff
in
Goldblum?
some other stuff.
One more
Is
time.
that what they're
Jess, I
doing?
didn't
Jeff
hear you.
Goldblum.
Oh, I just said that I would love to see Johan in some other stuff. I haven't done it yet, but like I feel like he's so good as Pet on Fane.
Oh, she's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I completely agree. I'm not seeing him at the top of the IMDb for Small Axe, but that doesn't mean he's not in it. It just means he's not.
I have one slight concern with Pat and Fane, and that's that in the books we got the transition from peddler, to peasant, kind of to hound, and you saw the degradation of his mind and just him in general. In this, he seems a bit more put together in the show. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that changes because I really wanted to see some good acting with those transitions, but I haven't seen it yet. Although he's doing a phenomenal job on the show, so I'm not complaining about that.
Rob Christensen has been proven right by IMDb. Johan Myers is indeed Cutlass Rankin in that show. So you can go see...
Name kicks ass.
Cutlass Rankin. I don't know how you usually pronounce that.
Cutlass Rankin.
It works. It works.
It's a badass name.
And if that man is not a pirate, I will eat my hat.
Well, think about it. It's
Cutlass.
a show called Small Axe, and his name is Cutlass. I don't know if he's the main guy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's
wrong
amazing.
kind of cutting utensil.
I need to check that out. Okay, so there being no further Elias business, are we all happy with our Elias news and ready to move on to my favorite character of the show? And, actually, my favorite book character. I don't know. She's not yet my favorite show character, if I'm being honest.
Like, favorite book character ever?
I'd have to really think about that one, like, really hard before calling it.
Okay.
My favorite book character ever is Samwise Gamgee because he's the greatest hero in literature, but Egwene is, like, a very close second.
I might be right there. We might be like...
Oh, we're Sturm Breitblade.
Like Samwise is. Rob Christensen, I'm not a dark friend. I believed you. Oh my gosh! Everyone accuses me of being a dark friend. It's like just because I said the Chosen one time when I was talking about the Forsaken in the context of being chosen by the Dark One.
She's a dark friend.
She's a dark friend.
I am not. All right, we're talking about Egwene now. I am throwing up. I'm throwing up the spoiler warnings because things are getting spoilery in the chat. We're gonna do. Let's see. I'm gonna throw up the spoilers. We've got this. Why are we laughing? I don't understand the joke. I'm not in on the joke.
Because you stopped at the weirdest time you said, "I'm throwing up," and you never finished that statement.
That's my bad. I didn't really pay attention to what I was saying. It's a classic move of mine. All right.
Funny.
So here's Egwene. We love her. Throwing up the spoiler tags on both of these things.
We do love her.
So we're ready. Yeah. Okay, so Tavern, I don't know when you were going to show us this, but I can't wait any longer. You have a surprise for us tonight, right?
I do. I have my special D&D Egwene t-shirt on. I will show you now. Hold on.
Okay.
Gotta take my headphones off.
Here we go. For some reason...
It's just taking a long time.
I know, like literally. Oh my god, what's happening?
Just like watching it, like.
Guess
Whoa.
I'll. Okay, guys, full
Die.
spoilers.
Guess I'll die.
Full
Full spoilers.
Wow.
Screen.
She rolled a natural 1.
I'm sorry, she rolled a nat 20.
No, if she rolled a natural 1,
Oh.
she wouldn't have done any of the shit that she did when she nuked
Listen,
herself.
at the end, who
critted.
was still
She
standing?
critted.
Nope,
She
that's not a crit.
critted, and I will
That's-
not
that's a
accept
fumble.
any other answer. No, sir.
I hope
So
I
there it is.
communicated adequately that this is currently now full book spoilers. All the book spoilers, 100%. Please tell me
Book
that you
spoilers.
got that message before he showed us his shirt. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, yeah, so we've got Egwene Alvir. And in these deep dives, we talk about how the characters are different between the book and the show, and how that might affect their arc going forward. That's about what we've been doing. We've done Moraine, we did Rand, and now we're on Egwene. Egwene just so happens to be me and Jess's favorite book character, so
It's amazing.
we're pretty passionate about this young lady, and so let's just
The best friend.
start it off. She was aged up. That's one difference. She went from
Yeah.
16, 17 to 20, which Roger Derney, right? I should have played some sexy stripper music to that reveal. Why? Like,
No.
missed opportunities.
Nobody wants that image in their head.
I'll have to cut that in
Nobody
later.
wants that image in their head.
So, yeah, I liked that change a lot. It made their like whole vibe more. I just like the more mature feel of the show, because with a 16, 17-year-old girl running around, it would feel incredibly YA, and I think maybe turn off some people from the show. Jess, sounds like you agree with me.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with you. I feel like in the book, it was, I would say, appropriate to have them be younger, because I feel like in a lot of ways their young age really kind of drives home in a lot of ways, like how much this experience is going to change them and influence the rest of their lives, however long those might be. And, we're not going to get as much of that because they're basically adults at this point in the show. But I agree with you. If they were kids, it would have been, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah.
Because people would be like, why are we watching a bunch of teenagers?
I think we would get more people saying, this is just Shannara, and we already have enough of those, in my opinion.
We have plenty of those.
The one thing that did bother me about Game of Thrones was that Daenerys was so young.
The book?
The book, and even in the show, she was pretty young on the show. They said it in the show, and I just thought it was just kind of disturbing. So I'm kind of glad that they aged them up, because that was probably one of the biggest issues I had with that show.
Yeah.
Not a big
How old
fan
did
of.
they have her in the show?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wasn't the show, wasn't
she
she
was-
like 16 or 17? In the book, she
In the
was
show,
like
she was like
13.
16, but yeah, in the book, she was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, in the book she was 13.
Yeah.
She was a child. So
I
fucked
want
up.
to say when she
Gross.
first showed up in the books, when her brother sold her off to Drogo, she was like 14 in the show. I'm not sure though.
I could be right. Obviously, the
Yeah,
actress
so
didn't
aging
look
up
it.
is good.
Yeah, the actress did
Yeah.
not look it, of course, right?
Aging
Yeah,
up
so I'm
is-
kind of glad they aged them up, because
Sith guy, good point. The book was more like, you're my ticket out of this village, let's go! And the show was like, I don't know, maybe Dragon Reborn? You should come. Like, that was a different vibe.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was a very
That's
different
totally
vibe.
it.
yeah, I still think she used it as a ticket to get out, but that's just me.
Was she supposed to be like, no, you're telling me I might be the dragon, but I'm staying here?
They wrote it that
Yeah,
way
I
to get them to come.
I don't think that she was looking at it as a ticket out of town, because like she was getting ready to like build the future she wanted. She was getting ready to train to be a wisdom. Like she broke up with her boyfriend. Like she was ready to do her best life. And then all of this stuff happened. And what I think about Show Egwene is that she has this enormous sense of responsibility to the people that she loves and the people who are important to her. And so for her, there was absolutely no question whatsoever that she was going to do this. She didn't feel like she had any reason not to believe Moraine. And she's like, save the world? Yep, fine, let's go, let's do this, because like we can't have not saving the world. So like that's the impression that I came with.
So cool.
She's so cool. Literally.
Yeah.
Her whole thing was, is this going to help the people that we love? Is this going to save the world? Yeah. Okay. Let's rage.
Done.
You know, that was just easy. Oh, thank you for the follow, Bookworm Lex. Welcome in.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah. So, aging up, good thing.
I liked both book and show Egwene as far as the aging.
Okay.
Like when I was reading the, book Egwene in the beginning, her being so young and how she acted and communicated really did, it flowed. It did make sense. And now in the show being aged up and seeing the more sexualized nature of her and, Rand being together, being older is definitely more comfortable. Yeah, with that.
And like Book Egwene absolutely acted like a 16-year-old.
Yeah, for sure.
She was,
you should not be surprised who she was.
And, yeah, I remember being obnoxious when I was 16, so that tracks.
Yeah, embrace it. Don't judge it. Whatever.
And
we all go through it.
It works.
That whole scene, right, in which they were adulting, I'll leave it at that, was kind of set the tone. It kind of set the tone for the rest of the village, right, for Emmons Field, because in the books it's all about, you have to wait till you get married, you have to wait to get married until you become a woman, etc. They're prudish to an extent, and here we have Anne and Egwene literally doing their hoop-de-hoops in the inn under the same roof as her parents and his dad, which would have never happened in the books.
Yeah.
Her mom wingmanned her.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Will you guys finish the dishes?
Love it.
What?
Finish the dishes.
You guys
Yeah,
can
finish the
finish the
Dishes
dishes.
are dirty.
I'll go outside.
They'll need to go dish.
Go there now.
I am a huge fan of the sex positivity that we have going on here,
Amen.
and
Yeah,
the fact
please,
that women are not ashamed of their sexuality. Like Nynaeve walking into Land's room, like, okay, you know what? Like, I love it.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool.
Yes. It was very feminine. All of it is extremely feminine. We need more of that.
I'm kind of glad they sped up that whole courtship with Lan and Nynaeve. I know we're talking about Egwene, but I'm kind of glad that happened because it took way too long in the books.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they got
agree
to
with
it
that.
too and didn't tease it out.
Yeah. Although, didn't the I'll hate the man you love because he isn't me. Isn't that in the book one? I thought that was book one.
Oh, I don't actually remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was in Baldara, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like they don't they don't bang it out like they do in this. And
No. That wasn't.
No.
That wasn't Baldara. That was when they were in the Blight, when they camped at
Right outside
in
the Seven
Malkier?
Towers.
right. Yeah. That
and
sounds
she
right.
went to him and was like, "Okay, look, are we gonna?" And he's like, "Listen, bride price, whatever, blah blah blah."
Right.
Yeah.
The classic
And that's
bride
obviously
price
not
whatever
well
blah
for
blah blah quote.
Oh my god.
I think I'm glad that it also got sped up. I feel like everything seems more realistic because they are humans. They do have like hormones and feelings, and it's not like I know.
Urges and-
But yeah, the fact that Rand and Egwene
Have
were
you
just
seen Daniel Henney? Come on,
come on. I completely agree.
just look at him.
So it works for me. Egwene being
Agreed.
older and being the same age as them works for me, and we kind of address this, but her being Tavern is kind of a controversial issue. So I guess
Why is it controversial?
people hate it. Some people.
Why?
Yeah. What? Well, I know. Have you guys not experienced this?
No, I
not
don't
because
think
in
I
my,
haven't
in
seen
my
it myself,
mind,
but I'm not surprised.
in my mind, reading the books, I literally always thought of them as Tavern, even though they weren't named, because the same amount of crazy shit happened to them that happened to everybody else.
I think that's
So-
valid.
Yeah. So, I haven't bought, and I have not seen that come up anywhere.
Oh, my TikTok
Wow.
comments are
Well-
they're a beautiful, wonderful place. Also, thank you for the follow, Steph North. That happened 2 minutes ago and I missed it, but I appreciate it. Yeah,
I think that what we have with the Egwene Tavern thing is that there's like a Venn diagram of people who don't want them to change anything for the show, and then people who hate it when women are good at things. And it's possible that that's just a circle. I mean, I'm
the
not
same
saying
people that,
Very simple diagram.
I'm just gonna put it out there.
It's
It's
just-
the same people that think women can't be president because their hormones will start a war. Yet all wars have been started by men. So I'm not really sure.
It's amazing how that works out.
we're
Amazing.
not going to start a
Amazing
war
what we get
when
to on
we're
this.
like, we're not going to start. We are going to murder an individual person who pisses
Maybe,
us off.
yes.
That's what's going to happen.
Or scratch.
I mean, get real.
Scratch a country with a key or something.
Efficiency is key. I think female leaders are more efficient in that way. Also, thank you for the first time chat. Bookworm Lex on Twitch. People are like, but childhood innocence. And that's a good point. They aren't children. They're not children.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit
That's why
about
they're
childhood
aged up.
innocence?
Yeah.
That's part of the reason they're aged up, because now
Fixed it.
there's
Yeah.
no excuse.
They're still kind of innocent because I mean, if you look at the characters, they're still learning so much as they travel because they're adults, but they haven't left their village. So
Sure.
they are
Lots of
still learning.
innocence still,
Yeah.
for sure.
Not to
Yeah.
mention their
Yeah, as
frontal
far as-
cortex isn't fully developed. If we're going, if the fantasy
I
world
mean,
reflects
that is also true.
the
I
real
love
world.
watching the frontal cortex, what is it?
Cortex.
Be developed.
It's my favorite thing. I could watch that all day.
Watch it all day.
And, you know, if you think about it, as far as like the stuff that they're experiencing outside of their hometown, like they're not any less naive than a little kid
Exactly.
would be, because they've had the exact same amount of like experience of the world. So, you know, that naivete is still there. It just looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it's precious. It's okay to have
They're
that.
precious beings.
Precious babies with frontal cortex TikToks.
I guess the debate about
a
the
weird
girls
word.
being Taviran, to me, it's a double-edged, like before. So when we saw the preview, I think they mentioned either 5 Taviran or 4 Taviran, and a lot of people got their hackles up. Like some people were like, "Thank God they've been Taviran all along. This just reflects reality," and other people were like, "That's gonna take away from their accomplishments because they earned that shit on their own. Like they didn't have the pattern manipulating everyone around them. Like they just did it, you know." And so I can see both sides of that argument. But if you just look at all the things that Nynaeve and Egwene ended up doing, I think the stronger argument is probably that they, you know, the pattern was on their side at least a little bit. You know, it wasn't
At the very least.
it wasn't working against them for sure. And somebody in the chat brought it up. Aelthas BC says the alternative is that Rand's Taviran-ness altered the girls to be what he needed them to be, and that takes away even more from their agency. So that's like a counter argument.
good.
If
Yep.
you believe that,
Mm-hmm.
then it does take away like so there's so many different interpretations of it that it just feels cleaner to just make them Taviran, especially because no one, me included, likes hearing the main characters that have the most effect on the story are 3 men. Like, I don't love that, you know?
That's
Like,
not the vibe I get at all from the
Yeah.
Wheel of Time either.
It's
We got a
not.
super
Not
chat.
at all.
Oh, it just came in.
Well,
yeah.
and you see, if you think about it, like when the Tower is in exile and they decide that they're going to make Egwene to Amyrlin because they think they're going to be able to set her up as a puppet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really going to tell me that the pattern wasn't like fucking with stuff? I have a really hard time believing that, because like, why Egwene?
Yeah.
It could have been Elaine. It could have been some other random novice somewhere, but they picked Egwene. And,
true.
you know, I have a little bit of a hard time believing that there wasn't some kind of, you know, big Taviran energy happening there.
I like J
I love
Diggity with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. This is actually a really great point. The pattern had to make the boys Taviran because they were very reluctant with their part of the story. The girls ran straight to their fate, so that wasn't needed. That's a great point. Like the
That is
boys
a
were
good
like,
point.
I want to go home. Like I just want to gamble, and I don't want to become a wolf. And the girls are like, let's fucking go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
let's save the
It
world.
really was.
So okay,
That's
so
what they said.
to Jay Diggity's point and to what you said, right, where the boys were reluctant, so the pattern made them Taviran to get them to go where they needed to be. It kind of goes with my theory that I've had for the show, because Moraine says there's a rumor of 4 Tavern, right? The Two Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
We know in the books, Nynaeve wasn't part of the group that left, just like in the show, she wasn't part of the group that left. She caught up later.
Yeah.
In both instances, I still think that Nynaeve was being reluctant into accepting that she could channel and she could do all of this stuff. And her Super Mayo Clinic explosion of healing in episode 4, correct? 4
Yep.
or 3?
Yeah. Four.
Four.
Four is my
Four.
second favorite
Four.
episode.
Actually
Yeah, me too.
made her a Tavern at that point, because they've explained it in behind the scenes stuff that when something goes amiss, the pattern fixes it by creating a Tavern. And at that point, Steppen screwed up. Logain did his thing, and Nynaeve did what she did. It could be a mix. That's the theory I'm going with until I get proven differently.
Like that.
So she was made into a Tavern.
Yeah, because if you look at the explosion
In that moment.
Yeah, when she's kneeling down and her hair is going crazy with the big circle of light, if you look at that circle, you see the Aes Sedai symbol in it.
Mm-hmm. I remember you pulling that up for us.
Yeah, so
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's neat.
then we don't find out that all 5 of them were Tavern, really. I mean, until Fane says it in the last episode, correct?
Yeah, assuming we believe Fane.
Yeah, assuming we believe him, yes. Because he may think, he said you're all Tavern, but he may not have known about Nynaeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Meaning that there's a different. No, but he says you're all Tavern, all 5 of you.
That's true, he does say all
He
5.
specifies 5, right?
By that time, he
Yeah,
might
He
know.
does.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
that's right. Good
Oh,
memory.
there's a discrepancy. Moraine says 4. She went there looking for 4, and end up at 5.
Yeah.
Archer fan.
I like the idea that Nynaeve didn't become Tavern until a later point. Particularly that moment where like everything went to hell in the cave. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the intro is you see the thread ripping, and then all of a sudden you see that leap of yellow that shoots out. That's what it was explained at, was the pattern. There was an issue in the pattern, and the pattern created a Tavern, and that's what that shot of yellow comes out, and then it turns into a weave. That's a Tavern fixing the pattern.
That's interesting. I like
Gave
that a
me
lot.
chills a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The layering.
Anyways,
I love us, you guys.
I love us too. So for those of you just tuning in, by the way, I'm seeing some questions in chat and whatnot about the ELYAS casting. So just so you know, there's information on Twitter. Watt Series has an article out. It is Gary Beadle is being reported to be Elias by Watt Series. No confirmation as of yet from the show as far as I know, but it apparently says it on his CV, and there was a clue early on in January where somebody who's in the show commented a wolf head on one of his comments, and so that little rumor started, and now it feels like it's been confirmed. So just to catch anybody who's asking up, that's what happened. Back to Egwene.
to Egwene.
Sorry, I just wanted to... And Egwene. I want to also say I expanded the spoiler warning because this makes, like, I am desperate not to spoil this stuff because I saw somebody from my Discord in the chat and they have not read all the books yet, so I just want to say we are full spoilers right now, so be careful because we might.
My child, no.
Yeah, I love that you're here, but I'm worried for you. Okay, so I'm just saying.
We definitely love that you're here, but if you want to keep your sanity,
we are worried for you.
it, yes.
Spoiling
yeah, we've
things.
talked some real shit.
So yeah.
Really heavy shit. So
yeah. So that's all.
That's the best thing ever.
All right, so we've got the Tavern thing. Whether she's Tavern or not, it feels like she probably is, and we think that makes a lot of sense given even the context of the books. It works, even if we're going pretty close to her plot in the books. What else was different with her? I'm trying to remember. She got captured by the White Cloaks and got tortured. That was a little different, right?
Did she
Very
get tortured?
different, yeah.
I mean, she was
it was
Perrin got
torture
tortured.
It was torture by proxy because obviously it's extremely distressing for her to watch it.
It doesn't count as torture if you literally sit there and say, "Listen, just kill me." If you're gonna do it, do it. Which is basically
if you're gonna
what
do
she
it,
said.
I love that moment when she's like, "You know what? Fuck you, dude. If you're gonna do it, Fucking do it. I'm not
It's so
scared of you.
Egwene.
So annoying.
I'm so Egwene.
It's like, there she is.
Bless her heart. Yeah, I think, I mean, also that she had a bunch of men manhandling her while nude.
Yes.
So I'm going to call that
Yeah.
torture.
When she didn't want it. So
She
Oh,
did-
yes,
Or-
okay,
Oh,
yes,
torture.
it is. She got scrubbed down. Yes, that is. that
Yeah,
is a
Dame
form of
Alex
torture.
Lobos in the chat. I'm with you. The scrubbing counts as torture, and then she was tortured by proxy when Perrin was being tortured. So like,
Oh man. Gosh.
she's gone, and she in the series. Now, okay, Pros Dragon. I was literally talking to you, so I hope you're gone by now. In the series, she does get captured by the White Cloaks, but she doesn't get tortured, if I'm remembering in the books. She just gets
No, they don't.
captured.
Oh,
And then she gets captured by the Shawshan, and then definitely does get tortured. And,
Definitely gets tortured.
And then she gets captured by Elida, and gets tortured in a way, but eventually figures out how to cope. Like, so she's
she got captured in here too.
she
So
in what?
She's had it rough.
in the stone, they all got captured in the stone.
Oh
By the
yeah, she
Black
was in
Aja,
jail because
right?
Matt like freed her, and they were like, we were gonna get
He
out.
rescued them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I
And
told
that's
you
like,
this.
Lottie fucking die.
Yeah.
I told you this before. I think although Rand did suffer some pretty horrendous shit, I think Egwene got either captured and tortured the most
Yeah.
of any character in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just resilient. She's not whining about
Yeah.
it much. So you
Rand.
don't pay attention to it as much naturally.
And that points me to, like, I think maybe one of my favorite lines in the entire first season, where Nynaeve is telling, was it Perrin?
About.
Rand, wherever, when they were talking about, when she was telling the story about how she had bone break fever.
Yeah.
And she's like, Egwene is a lot of things, but
She's
more than anything,
unbreakable.
she's unbreakable.
Yep.
And I was just like, yo,
Yes.
like, yeah.
And that's really set her
MVP.
up in the show. That really has set her up in the show because again, we're probably not going to see everything that Egwene goes through in the books. So the things that they're going to show right in the series have to be at a higher level, and by setting her up as unbreakable from the get-go, it sets an expectation. We've already seen her reaction to the White Cloaks, which is like, yeah, screw you, just kill me, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we know she's tough, and then you have Nynaeve, who's tough as nails, saying that she's unbreakable, sets her up really well.
I like that. So maybe we don't have to watch it as much as we had to read
No,
it.
I want to watch
Like,
it. I wanna watch
no. You want to watch her be tortured? No.
it. It's Egwene.
I mean, it's gonna be
Gosh.
a weird. So, like, I guess this kind of gets into the. We can start speculating now, because the Egwene being tortured over and over again in different circumstances and captured and whatnot leads me to what's gonna happen in season 2, right? I think my guess, and I think a lot of people's guess, is that her and Nynaeve, Nineveh. I keep going back to my book pronunciations.
Nineveh.
Like, what is wrong with me?
Oh, I
What
love
is wrong with me today? No. Okay, her and
beautiful.
Nynaeve are going to be headed down to the tower, and then in the same way that it happened in the books, either Leandrin is going to orchestrate them being captured, or Leandrin is going to take them like the way she did and turn them over to the Shanshan. Egwene will be captured once again. Nynaeve and Elaine are going to work to get her out, and that's going to be awesome. I love that. I hope that that's what happens.
Yeah,
Do you?
that's what I was
want
thinking
that.
too.
Okay.
I want that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's during that time we see her really get forced and stretched into her power, right? So
Yeah.
we get into things really interesting stuff.
That and so far
That's a good
we've
point.
got an inkling about Leandrin. We just don't like her.
Yeah.
What?
The show.
I love Leandrin.
I know that you love her. I'm just saying, most people in their right mind with good frontal cortex.
Leave my cortex
I
alone.
think you guys are talking too much about the frontal cortex now.
Anyways, so Leandrin's just not
cortex.
very likable on the show, but this would cement her for sure as an evil person if she follows the same route that she did in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think.
Look at that face. I don't care what they're doing to Perrin. Just untie me.
She clearly cared what
That's
they
what
were
she's
doing
saying.
to Perrin. Come on. Oh, yeah. Pros Dragon, you're right. Honestly, the 3 badass chicks is my favorite part of the whole books.
Yeah.
I love their thing in The Great Hunt where Nynaeve and Elaine are like trying to hide in a city full of Shan somehow, and they're like devising a plan to let Egwene out that ends up working. Isn't this when they meet Egwene also, right?
Egwene? Yeah, I think Bale introduces them, if I'm not mistaken, don't they?
Is that right, Jess? Or you remember something different?
Oh, no. They met her.
No, they don't meet her until
at like later books.
Tanchiko.
Yeah, because she was disguised. This was after the fall of Falme.
That's right.
My
bad.
Town disguised as somebody else.
My bad. So they're just flying solo.
Yeah, and then everybody's like preconceptions were, turned on their heads because they liked her, but she was Shanshan, and they weren't idiots like she thought.
Right.
That's
it's a beautiful moment.
She started actually feeling okay around Aes Sedai or women that could channel.
I do love Egwene. She is a cool character.
Yeah, she is.
I do like her character.
Did you guys see the?
And her and Bail Doman's whole thing is just like so good.
That's a really nice dynamic there.
That's like enemies to lovers. It's just
for sure.
It's also a very interesting character, but it doesn't talk about Egwene. So moving on.
Right. Yeah, I was like, this is lovely, but I forgot that that's not when they meet her. So we're gonna get a good taste of the Shan early. And so I guess I kind of speculated about this in the Rand episode, because the question is, are we going to get the Battle of Falma in this season, and are we going to get the Fall of the Stone, right? Because it's books 2 and book 3. That's a lot, but it could conceivably happen, especially if the girls do the Falma stuff, or maybe the girls and whoever's going to blow the horn, and Rand kind of handles Tyr with some Aiel, right? That's like a running...
Yeah, they could do that simultaneously.
I feel like they could, right?
They could be. Well, so the Battle of Falma, right, with Rand in the sky and all that stuff, is what started cementing the fact that he was the dragon had returned.
Absolutely.
Him capturing the Stone of Tyr was more prophecy than anything else, and it was just another step. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That battle in the sky was what really did it, because, seriously, who the hell is not going to believe that you got people fighting in the sky? Stone of Tyr hadn't fallen, but doesn't mean it couldn't fall. Matt took a hole into it with some fireworks.
Yep.
Christ's sakes.
I love that.
So I would expect both, and I really think Rand needs to be at Falma to announce the Dragon Reborn, right? With the horn and all that stuff.
He could battle in the sky at Tyr, though.
Could.
Could.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
That is true. And if they combine that, that's fine. But I think we need that in the sky part.
I want the in the sky part, too.
Well, and he could be fighting in Tyr, and then maybe the fight shows in the sky in multiple locations.
Ooh.
There's
because it's so big, so grandiose.
Well, and
it's just.
It could just be projected, a super sick power moment where it's just showing up everywhere,
everybody sees.
Yeah, and then you just have quick flashes to different areas, different cultures. Everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so neat to
see.
Cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Actually.
Let's do that.
Let's sign off. I'm going to sign off on that one. I like that a lot.
I'm going to sign off on that.
Okay, so we haven't heard Falma in the show, right? All we heard was rumors of ships missing the Western Shore, or
I think so. Yeah,
that's what Megan said.
We have gotten Falma from that survey thing that we got access.
No. I'm saying on the show itself, have they said Falma?
Okay. Fighting via Sky Zoom meeting, Luke. Sorry. Sky
That's
Zoom
awesome.
Meeting. Yeah.
Kind of hit different in a pandemic, doesn't it?
Oh my God, that would be hilarious if the show it's just two guys talking over Zoom.
Oh,
hilarious. Super.
Can you hear me? Can you see my background?
Yeah, your background's ugly. Yeah. That.
Wow, our background is fabulous. You need to calm down. Rational.
I'm talking about the fight on Zoom.
Oh.
She said, calm down.
I love your backgrounds.
I'm just really defensive today, okay? For obvious reasons.
TikTok has been rough, I think.
I'm so ready for a comment to come out like, how dare Egwene be Tavern? And then I have to be like, why do you care that much? But it's fine. It'll work. But yeah, so Megan didn't say Falma. I think you're right about that. I think she
she said the Western.
Yeah, I think she said in the West or the Western Shore or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jay Diggity, I think the Aiel will take the stone still. Like Rafe said, there's going to be more Aiel than we expect in this season. That, for me, could be the stone.
Could be the stone, or it could be them looking for he who comes with the dawn.
Which end up...
Both.
Could be both, but I'm just saying.
What if...
more.
Jess has something to say.
What if we time travel? Like we did in the first season, where it was like 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
So we could skip ahead and do Falma like early mid-season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We talked about that. We talked about
and
last
then
stream,
move on to Tyr, and then like maybe when he's saying that we see more Aiel than we expect, maybe Egwene goes to the Waste to train as a dreamer sooner than we think.
Oh.
The sooner the better.
That would be cool. I like the dreamer part. The dreamer part we
Yeah,
didn't touch.
so bad.
But the fact about time jump we kind of discussed last stream, where if we follow the format of the first season, you had the quick battle at the beginning, which I think would be the Shanshan hitting the shore. We saw him at the end of the last season. Then mid-season would be Falma, and then end of season might be the Stone of Tyr. Yeah. I completely agree with that. Plus, we have to figure out, because I think it was discussed that Rand is going to make it to Falma, right? Or Erdaman? What was the...
Falma.
So the question is... to
the
Falma.
survey.
So where is
Falma,
where is Egwene going to be in all of this? If they're going to Falma, then I would assume that Egwene finds her way to Falma, in which there would have to be a time jump of some sort.
Yeah.
There would have to.
True.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder if they're going to skip that initial fight, because we saw the Shanshan, we saw the giant overkill wave that the channelers made. So to me, it could conceivably happen that there's a time jump, like at the very beginning, and the Shanshan have already taken Falma, and Rand is vibing there, like biding his time, kind of. You know, it could work, but then you've got the Horn Hunt, so like that would leave people doing different things at different times, but at the same time in the episodes, so that could be really confusing. I don't know. The way the timing is going to have to be well done, otherwise it's going to be confusing.
Yeah, they're going to have to massage it, I think, because honestly, how the hell is Rand going to get to Falma before the end of the season, all the way from the fucking Blight, when he doesn't even know where the hell he's going? Motherfucker just went and he just walked somewhere.
Like, he had nothing with him. Like, he just left.
He bounced. He was like, peace, bitches, I'm out.
Like,
I think the kids are now saying dipped.
Some kind of time.
So Rand just
is
dipped.
that the new vernacular? He dipped?
He dipped, yeah.
He did. He dipped right the fuck out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some kind of a time jump to get him from the Blight to, like, as far away from the Blight as you can get and still be on land. Like,
I mean, it's a chunk of, it's a long ass ways.
Unless, really, of course, he goes through a portal stone, which is what happens in the Great Hunt anyways.
That's true.
So, we're talking about Egwene, though. By God, we don't care about Rand this episode. We talked about Rand already. We want to know what happens with Egwene.
Honestly, this is my favorite part about talking with people about the Wheel of Time, when we have a specific topic that we're supposed to be talking about, and we all just constantly are going off on tangents, and it's just gorgeous. I love it.
But what would this mean for Rand? But what would it mean for Perrin? Literally, it's like, this is an Egwene episode, and the first thing we're talking about is Elias, which necessarily is going to include Perrin. You know what I mean? So it works. It works. It all works out.
Okay, so getting back to Egwene, if she finds herself in Falma, do we think it's going to play out the same way it did in the books, where they get attacked, or they get ready to get turned over, really, by Liandrin, and Nynaeve and Egwene are like, fuck this, and they start popping off, and Nynaeve gets away? Would have to be. It was Nynaeve and Elaine.
Yeah.
Would have to be. I mean, because unless they just take him there and she gets captured, and they don't have a fight, which would be stupid.
It was a brief fight. I mean, it wasn't like a big fight. It was like Nynaeve, like, throwing out, like, lightning bolts when she could figure out how to make lightning bolts, right? Like that's
Okay.
It was a brief fight in the books, but if you remember, they chased them because Elaine and Nynaeve got separated, and they chased them for a while because they were like, we chased them for a long, and and there was fighting happening for a bit with Nynaeve and the Shanshan as they were trying to chase her down until she finally got away. So it wasn't like a 2-minute thing. She took off and they chased her down for a little bit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they can't, of course, do that in the show unless they use like a time lapse, from mid-afternoon to evening kind of thing to show that it's been hours.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see some kind of fight.
Yeah. I mean, I
It
think
would
it
show
could be
the
like
growth.
a
I
quick.
can't.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was gonna say I can't wait to see after they free Egwene, and then like she just 100% goes into complete PTSD, set the world on fire, and just blows everything up. I cannot wait for that moment. It's gonna be awesome.
There's that moment, and since we're full spoilers, the moment where she goes freaking supernova in the tower.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so
I'm gonna
badass
weep.
in the tower. Yeah, she is so badass in the tower. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody, actually, Rational Nerd in the chat, I don't know if you talked about this already, but since Swan seems to be a dreamer in the show, do you think they'll start her mentorship to Egwene earlier in the book? So, like, because she eventually becomes Egwene's mentor after some shit goes down, could she start early and, like, maybe Egwene's first foray into dreaming happens with Swan rather than with the Wise Ones?
So, okay, so Swan mentioned that it came to her in a dream, right? That the Dark One's prison was at, or the Eye of the World was at, the same place, right?
Yes.
I
took it to understand that Balsamon was in her head too. I didn't take it for
I
her
don't
being a
think
dreamer.
I don't think Swan's a dreamer.
I was thinking the same.
I don't think she's a dreamer.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. I didn't take it that way.
In the chat, there appears
But
to
it
be
is
some
an interesting
confusion.
idea.
Yeah, it is. It is very
It is. No,
interesting.
I like it as an idea. And Swan could be a dreamer for all we know. Like, maybe that's why she got the dream and was like, this means something, But Balsamon could have just been manipulating it. Also, just so we're all clear, the chat seems to be confused. Yes, it is full book spoilers. So tread lightly. That's all I'm saying. Be careful. You might get spoiled on something massive that happens with Egwene. Okay.
Massive.
Yeah, like her failed romance.
Very math.
Failed? What?
Sorry.
Fucking, she
Failed?
doesn't need a man.
She doesn't. She could be whatever.
doesn't need a man.
Creased Falna is saying, I don't think she's a dreamer. I think she got played. That's what we're thinking, and I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Balsamon was fucking with her, especially because it was the same dream over and over and over again, which is very similar to the experiences that the boys had with their Balsamon dreams.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to go that direction. I was going to say something else too, but now I don't remember.
I'm sorry, we're all over the place here. Lee Science in the chat is saying the dreamer thing was in the behind the scenes. They think. I did not see that, but I
haven't seen that.
Really?
Keep my eyes.
I didn't see that either. So if you know which one it is, please send us something on Twitters.
Yeah.
Or put it in here and which behind the scenes interview it is, so we can go take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
seeing more
interesting.
Swan earlier on doing sounds great.
Give me more Swan. I'll take all the Swan.
Let's
Like
do it.
Sophie Okonedo is.
Well,
Yes.
here's my argument about that, because there are a lot of people, I don't think that this is what happened. I think that they traveled, but there are a lot of folks who think that those Terran Real that they have actually put them into Teleron Riyadh.
I don't think so. Yeah.
And so if Swan's a dreamer, she wouldn't need it.
Moraine would, though.
If she has it.
She would, but
Well, yeah, Moraine would. But Swan doesn't, and Swan has one in her room. You see it when Moraine brings Egwene and Nynaeve to see her.
yeah, there's three of them all together. There's the one that Moraine's got, the one that Swan has, and then the one at their meeting place.
That's true.
Yeah, there's one in there.
It might
as
just
well.
be
So,
the
yeah.
nature of the Terran Real. Like, there's two sources and there's a destination, and so it was a gift. I don't know. You make a good point though, and I do wonder if it's like depending on how good you are as a dreamer, like you can make a dream shard or not. Or like, the dream bubble, which is what it seems like they're in, because if they weren't, then they would be at like massive risk, right? Because any Forsaken could just show up at any moment, whereas if you're in your own little dream shard, right, it's like it's a whole different vibe.
Could you change the dream shard every time, like whoever gets there first at sacred place, Like,
presumably,
would always be the hut.
Unless, because Moraine doesn't have an ability, like even assuming Swan does, like if Moraine doesn't have any, then she wouldn't be able to probably do much, because they trained a long time before the people that weren't dreamers could really control their surroundings or their outfits or whatever in the world of dreams.
So Kriest Falne says the behind the scenes said it's a traveling stone, dream shard, not dream world. Yeah, that falls right into what we were saying.
Yeah.
Traveling stone.
Very
cool.
Sent me
Thank you.
The trivia. Okay, love it. I love it. Let me see. I might have a DM with some
Trivia. I like the trivia.
I love DMs. Let me check it out. Keep talking. I'm looking, but it might take a second.
All right, so moving on from speculation, right? Or we're staying in speculation, I'd say, moving on from Falma. Do you think we're going to see the path that the three badasses take chasing the Black Aja? Somebody stated that maybe Swan is the one that gives them the ring, right? I still think it's going to be Varen. We're not talking about Varen. You know what I want to know?
I want to talk about Varen.
We can talk about Varen. We're not going to have a Varen episode.
No, I know. I want Jess's opinion.
There's some good Egwene Varen moments too.
What do you think happened at the end of episode 8 with Nynaeve coming back to life in Egwene's arms?
Being healed, right? She was healed. She wasn't brought back to life.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
You're
My
right,
understanding is, and this is based on something that Rafe said, I think, in an interview, that Nynaeve, he confirmed Nynaeve was not burned out. She was just gravely injured. She was not brought back from the dead. You cannot heal death, even in the show. It's the same. And he acknowledged that they didn't do as good a job of making that clear as they could have.
Yeah, because I mean, even if there's a spark of life, they can work with that to bring, to heal you. But if there's no life whatsoever,
yeah, I mean, you could be on your last death save, and they can still bring you back.
Which I think, going back to Nynaeve's, explosion, all of those people would have died within seconds if she hadn't have done what she did, because they were on the verge of Daniel Henney or Land was laying there with spurts coming out of his neck. So I'm assuming that even if there's a heartbeat,
Yeah,
he was almost gone. He was real close to gone. So, yeah.
All right, so I have Rational Nerd hooked me up with the description of Swan Sanche from Prime Video, and it indeed says she also showed a talent for seeing visions in her dreams, making her the most powerful Aes Sedai in a generation.
Wow.
So, there we go.
Okay, but that doesn't say she's a dreamer.
Yeah.
Seeing visions in her dreams. Okay.
I didn't see that in there, did it?
Okay. So you're right. That's a little Aes Sedai wordplay. Maybe those visions came from Balsmon. But it, I don't know. I guess, it does say that she's the most powerful Aes Sedai in a generation based on that. So part of me thinks that it's
interesting.
Legit. I don't know.
But that's a totally different thing.
It also says that her talents she has a foretelling talent.
Yeah.
So, seeing the visions in her dreams, that could be...
That's that.
That's what I was going to say. That doesn't make you a dream walker. That just means that you see things and they come true. I mean, yeah.
All right.
That doesn't make her a dream
Every
walker.
morning she wakes up like, this I foretell.
Maybe she'll have to go train with the
This I foretell. There will be coffee with 2 dollops of sugar. In the hell is this?
It's very Miranda Priestley.
What are we watching right now?
Yeah.
We were talking about the almost burnout, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm bringing a photo up because I'm an excellent stream
foreshadowing.
You're the best.
Foreshadowing.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, please get out of here if you haven't read the last book. Ready? The foreshadowing here was strong, right? Like,
Maybe you're
Yeah.
a firework.
it was strong. It was really strong. I hate it, but it was such an amazing end that I also love it. But
I'm not gonna say it.
Say what? What are you not going to
Yeah,
say?
why are you holding back?
Listen,
What can't you
Yeah.
say,
I
Tavern?
am staying out of the
What are you-
Roman candle comments for right now. I'm gonna let you guys get your stuff going first.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Here we go. We've got one from
Let him
Min
know,
Heathrill to
Jess.
start it off. That girl was on fire. Oh, terrible. Why?
Oh, no.
Why are we like this?
Oh, no.
She's incredible. Like, honestly, I think that is the way she ended is icing on the cake of an incredible self-sacrificial, non-selfish character. A lot of people say that Egwene is selfish, and I don't understand that
I
at
don't
all.
either.
Say that. Who would say that?
Oh my
Well,
god.
you want to know what? I have thoughts about that.
Bring it.
Because there is a social mores that women who do what they want to do
Here we go.
are selfish.
Yep.
Even though if men do what they want to do, they are not selfish. But women doing the things they want to do are selfish. So I think that people saying that Egwene was a selfish character because she had ambitions and things that she wanted to do and things that she wanted to be, and she had aspirations to be the best at everything, that somehow this made her a selfish person. And no, it made her an ambitious person, and it made her a person who prioritized herself. And it is not selfish to prioritize yourself. It is healthy to prioritize yourself. So suck on that.
Preach. Suck on that. I will hold your earrings. That was so well said. I agree. Like, so, like, you said who would say that? You would not believe how many people have said that to me. Like, I've gotten into several, unfortunately. I've cooled down in recent days, but I've gotten to several flame wars on Twitter about people trashing me on Twitter, aka my girl Egwene, and it's shit like that. She's selfish. How dare she do whatever she wants? She's mean to Rand. She's a brat, and you know what? At the beginning, she is a brat because she's 16. Like, get over
Yeah,
it. They
for
all
sure.
grow up.
Whatever.
Like, have you ever
Yeah.
met a 16-year-old?
Literally.
Have you
Like,
literally ever met one?
seriously?
I am a 16-year-old.
You guys are suck, you guys. Like,
You're not.
So behind the scenes, Kritter and Winespring know that 99% of my attacks on Egwene are just to set Kritter off.
Yeah.
Right? Because
It's
I
pretty
think
fun.
it is kind of fun. It's a big button that I like to push. So it creates some cool stuff right here, on the show. I've even said that.
Cool
I
stuff.
think one of the first things I told Egwene was that Egwene is a selfish character. And of course that was in jest, just trying to, throw some jabs at her. I do think that she at first wants so much to get out, right? So and she grabs on to anything she can to get out. This is in the books. On the show, it's a little bit different, but you kind of still see it where she leaves Rand because she wants to become a wisdom. And as soon as Nynaeve is out of the picture, right? Because the last thing we saw was her getting yanked by a Trolloc and dragged out to the middle of nowhere. You have Moraine telling her you could be an Aes Sedai, so she latches onto that. And the whole time on the show, they've kind of played it a little bit as Rand is like puppy dog, and she's kind of stringing him along to an extent. I wouldn't say fully, but to an extent, because she still needs that safety, that security that he provides. She still wants to do her own thing. So ambitious is a very good word for Egwene, and throughout the books, it's a huge thing, right? It goes from that to being a dreamwalker to being almost an Aiel wise one, because if she would have kept training with them, they would have talked her into that, and to becoming the Amyrlin, which that was the epitome of what she reached. But then she got mad because nobody believed that she was the Amyrlin. So she as hard-headed as she is, she's going to be, oh, I'm going to prove them all wrong. And that's just her character as she grew through the books. I'd love to see some of that in the show. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't say she's selfish, but she is very aggressive in what she wants, and she's very assertive in what she wants. So that does push some people off, like Jess said, for sure.
Yeah.
It sets them off.
And that's probably why she's my favorite character, because that is
Yeah.
how I
She has no
operate.
fucks to give.
Like, I literally...
Yeah, again, it's so feminine. Like, why are we pushing against that? Like, just embrace the feminine quality of strength.
It's
Yeah.
weird because
Like-
nothing in the books portrayed these women as weak or meek or anything.
Mhm.
I mean, you hear these guys go, "Oh, it's woke because the women are in charge of everything now." The entire story is based on women being in charge because men fucked up.
Women getting shit done. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Getting
I don't buy the whole woke bullshit that they keep throwing out. I don't buy it. It was always there. So
No, it's not. It's not woke. It's reality because there are strong, capable, intelligent, educated women who can fucking do shit. That's real life. Hi.
I think
No,
that's why
absolutely.
so many of us enjoy reading it too. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
to
back,
read
and
these
for the
female
time
characters.
Yeah, it really is.
it was written, we hadn't gotten real. I mean, we were moving in that direction, but we hadn't gotten to the point where women are out there, and they're. I've always believed. I mean, I was raised with the whole thought that you could do whatever you want, and anybody can do whatever they want. But I had weird parents, right? So, but at
Fair.
the time, early '90s, it was still much a man's world. We were starting to break out of that from the '80s and that shit. So it was really good writing for the time, very advanced writing.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Wheel of Time. Woke to fridge a woman in episode 1. So woke! I think we've been over the fridging issue.
We talked about that.
I think it's forgivable in this case because there are so many other strong women in the series. And also, Wheel of Time, we did actually talk about Egwene being Tavern and how
Wheel
I'm
of
fine
Time.
with it because... did I say Wheel of Time? Wheel Up Time. And it's fine because it's just basically like it's reflecting reality kind of because they're so OP in the books generally, and it also is a way better look for the show to have 5 people, 2 of them women, be like objectively the most powerful people when it comes to the pattern. I got a super chat though. So Jay Diggity, $5 in super chat. Thank you so much.
Diggity.
She had to learn to build a foundation to get what she wanted. Yeah, her quest for knowledge is like, I really relate to it, and I love it. It's like everybody else is kind of like just chilling. Nynaeve wants to learn to heal, which is really admirable. Egwene wants to learn everything. Like she wants to know everything, and I love that.
She's voracious.
She's just
Which I
And
think
I love it. Like,
in the end, it made her a better Amyrlin. That reason that she wasn't biased in any way, right, by any of the Ajas. She wanted to learn everything. So yeah.
And she would have fit in
well,
the
I think that
mall.
we can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, and she would have. And I think that. I really think that her time with the Wise Ones did so much for her in terms of preparing her to step into that role. Like, that training did huge things for her, just getting her to sort of think outside the box and patience and all of that kind of shit. And, especially like when she was back in the tower and they made her a novice and she was just, you know what, she's still, and she's going to act like she is what she is. And she won people to her side because she was patient and she was chill. Like, yeah. God, I love her so
She was
much.
firm and solid, and she knew who she was. It's hard
think
not
one
to
of-
Yeah.
sound like that.
I love
One
it.
of her biggest changes that I appreciated in the books was her accepting her toe with the Aiel.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was like, I'm going to just keep doing whatever I want to do, regardless of whether it's wrong or not. Whatever, I'm not going to, whatever the consequences. But she accepted the consequences and just came forward and took it. So, and I think that was when she turned around. I mean, and when I say turn around, I mean from being kind of like a me, I want to learn everything thing to a okay, I see it now. I see the big picture. It's more of a
It
selfless
was a major
thing.
growing up moment for her.
Absolutely.
That's a.
Yeah, they're all human, which I love about the whole series, Egwene included. I would never say that she's perfect. She made she did some things that I hated in the books. Like, everyone always brings it up, and it's true that the scene where she like summoned or whatever those men in the world of dreams to show Nynaeve that she didn't have the amount of power that she thought she had, like, and it ends up like they start like kind of groping her and stuff. That is not a good look. Obviously,
we could leave that out of the show.
They could definitely leave that out of the show.
Dame Alex,
leave it out.
Dame Alex has a quick question. Correct me if I'm wrong, but after Rand, of course, Egwene and Nynaeve may be the two most powerful channelers or the two most powerful female channelers.
Well, it's book.
I think Egwene and Elaine are kind of even, right? And then Nynaeve is just outstrips them like hell.
Yeah.
In the books,
but I don't remember how they compare with Rand.
In the books, they're the strongest. Nynaeve is the strongest female channeler, and then it's like Cadsuane, Egwene, Elaine. I think they're about around the same. I want to say because Cadsuane was like the strongest of all time until they showed up. I'm pretty sure.
An absolute legend.
A legend. But almost all, like, any strong male channeler in the books, I believe, would be stronger than all of them because of the stupid power discrepancy between men and women. In the show, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because of Logain's reaction to Nynaeve's display of power.
Right.
Yeah, Jess.
Somebody had an interesting comment about that. Wait, never mind, because it was Tavern who said it.
I said.
Oh wait, no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was somebody in the chat that we were talking about how that moment in the cave when she healed everybody, and we see that big nimbus, that like supernova, and it seems like Logain saw it,
right?
And somebody mentioned something about it possibly being like that moment is what he actually saw. It wasn't the power; it was the pattern doing something in that moment.
Well. So they described it, or they explained it, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it was Sarah Nakamura that said it. That what he saw, he didn't actually see anything. He felt the wind from the explosion. I think that's how she explained it. So he actually didn't see anything, which I thought was weird because he. And correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what he says about like a blazing sun or whatever.
Blazing sun,
yeah, he makes that comment, which was so weird that he said that, and that's why I thought he could see it as well. But that's what they played it off as. Oh no, he felt the wall of air or whatever.
Yeah.
Which it didn't make any sense to me. Oh God, I was going to ask Egwene Kritter something, and I can't remember what the hell it was.
You always call me Egwene. No, I think.
Oh, it was about the five elements. They create light if they're all used at the same time, or no?
I don't think that's canon, but that is another explanation that people have used that I was actually going to say. So that goes together in that because Nynaeve was literally spamming all of the buttons at once, she might have generated some light. Like she doesn't know how to channel. She doesn't know how to heal. The way she healed wasn't the way everybody else heals, and so. It would make sense that like there would be an explosion of light, right? Like that could happen. And so like a raging sun.
You made a really good point.
Roger did bring this up.
Roger made a really good point. Logain can see Tavern, that's his talent.
We
so if he
brought that up before, and I totally forgot.
Tavern in that moment, he would have seen it. And so he could have misinterpreted what it was.
It's true. He totally could have.
So, good looking out, Roger. Nice work.
Roger Duran, always
for
with the,
sure,
with the deep thoughts in the chat. We appreciate you, for sure. We appreciate all of you.
How many times have you read it?
Yeah, always.
We had actually discussed that before.
Yeah.
Like months ago, we talked about that fact that he could see Tavern, but I completely forgot. But yeah, that's a good point. So thank you, Roger.
Me too. Yeah.
Squarish
Super
Solid
cool.
6
I totally forgot.
is also saying men can sense women channeling, at least in the books. Perhaps the tingle was stronger than usual. Maybe his goosebumps turned into like goose mountains. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like that could
possible.
That could be what
Peter
happened.
tingled.
Yeah,
His Peter
sure.
tingle went off.
His Peter tingle could definitely be going on. All right. What, like, are we talking about Egwene right now? Like, what is happening?
Oh my god.
We're talking about the strength. So we technically
Oh,
we're
the
kind
strength.
of talking about Egwene and the strength. Now, does that strength include Forsaken or Chosen? However you want to
Oh
go?
no, I think Nynaeve is on
Oh,
par
no.
with Moghedien, I believe, power-wise, and she is
what I
not
thought.
one of the strongest
Mhm.
channelers. So I think like Lanfear is stronger than Moghedien, if
Yeah.
I'm remembering.
But Egwene is strong in earth.
Uh-huh.
Right.
We see that when she's delving for the metals, right?
Yes.
They all have these weird
Yeah,
strengths.
and that's unusual for women.
Yeah, because that's like a masculine or.
Well, I mean, if you
side of
think
power,
about
I
it, every one of their powers was unusual for women. You had Egwene, the Dreamwalker. You had Elaine that could delve into Earth and detect and tell you and recreate Terangriel and that kind of stuff. Angriel. Nynaeve was the first healer that they had seen that would use all 5 elements to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had forgotten about that or they hadn't used it, and so they each had a very unique gift that they brought to the table.
Oh, I love this. Luke Ice Jedi in the chat. Egwene is Toph. And if you don't get that reference, go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender because it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Not the movie, right?
It's a show.
movie?
It's a show that's like anime, but not really anime because it's like Americanized. It's American, I believe. But it's
We
incredible.
watched the show, not the movie.
Oh yes, watch the show, not the movie. Sorry, that's what you're saying.
Don't watch that movie.
Do not watch that movie. Do not watch
Fucking-
the
that was the
animated
worst-
show. Anyways,
It was
okay,
so
so
horrible.
it was bad. But Jess actually brought this up earlier, and I forgot to kind of we just kind of passed it. But an important part of Egwene's arc in season 2 is the fact that she got captured by the in book 2 is the fact that she got captured by the Shan-Chan and forced. And you may recall that this is a concept where it's dangerous, but it allows women to power up faster than usual because normally people who channel Sidar gradually increase in the power over time. And so you're not even going to be at peak power when you get made into an Aes Sedai necessarily. You're kind of going to keep developing until you hit your cap. Egwene was forced, and so she went hard in the paint, as the basketball players would say. And so by the time she left the Shan-Chan, she was stronger in the power than she otherwise would have been. So her capture helped her in that way, although it came with obvious drawbacks.
Is that
What?
okay? So about the books, they say that as you're learning to channel, you have to be taught to not channel as much because the more you channel, the more you want to channel, and you could lose yourself and whatnot, right? When she was chained up with the Shan-Chan, collared or however you want to call it, she was forced to channel, also abruptly cut off by this old Dom.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe that's how she grew in power, is because she was doing it, but she wasn't allowed to just take in as much as she wanted. She was just forced to use whatever they expected her to use, and that's it.
Yeah.
So there was never that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she had any agency in her practice or anything like that. Other people were running the show, so.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm saying is she wasn't allowed to just pull in as much as she wanted. She was forced to pull in little bits at a time, which made her stronger and still kept her from wanting to draw more.
Yeah. Actually, this an interesting chat coming through. Amyrlin's study says that Egwene is Queen Eldrine reborn, and no one will change my mind. I happen to agree with you. But why don't you explain
Yeah,
that
no one
theory?
will ever change my mind.
Why don't you explain that theory to the people? Remind them all who Queen Eldrine is and why this is a perfect theory.
Okay. So Queen Eldrine is queen of Manetheren, and she was up chilling in the castle, taking care of the children and whatnot, while they were down fighting the Trollocs. And I think that was during that was Manetheren's last stand. That was the thing that was Moraine's story,
that, yeah.
right? And so basically, they got fucked up pretty good, and her husband, who was also her warder, she felt him die and was like, fuck this, and basically just nuked herself and laid waste to everything, took out the entire Trolloc army, like, and obviously, like, you know, burned herself to a crisp in the process. But yeah, and so Egwene has a very similar parallel in her story. Ergo,
I love how we're all like not saying it. You know, it's like a full spoiler stream, but we're all like, "That's thing that happens to Egwene."
It's hard to talk about. We're still grieving.
I know. It's a tough thing to just say out loud, but I totally agree. I love that. I think it makes a lot of sense. The fact that a lot of the people from Manetheren, like actually from Manetheren, not like Rand, can speak the Old Tongue because the old blood runs strong, and Egwene is like,
oh my God.
she's not. She doesn't have the Matt is literally speaking the Old Tongue. Egwene hears it and she's like, that sounds so familiar to me. And like, I just love that like, maybe that's why, you know, like she, like the Queen Eldrine in Egwene is so strong.
Egwene.
I'm so happy that it's Egwene, by the way. I don't know why I keep doing that today where I'm saying her name wrong, but you know, sometimes we like hit the reset button in our brain, and today is that day for me for some reason.
I do love that.
Executive function, you're fine.
I do love that whole bit. Almost started singing the song.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to do a cover of that for my channel.
That would be lovely.
Do that for sure.
Watch the hell out of that. Speaking of her channel, just so you're all aware, her deets are in the description of this video, as are all of our deets. So I don't think I said this earlier, but if you don't yet, you should follow her everywhere she is, okay? She's on YouTube.
Yes,
Fabulous.
please give my videos many likes.
Yeah, likes and comments and shares, oh my. Like, do it. She's on TikTok. It's all very fabulous. So,
she's everywhere.
She's everywhere.
Yeah, my most recent video is a supercut of all the times I said shit in season 1 during my reaction.
Which I think is hilarious.
That's
fantastic. It turned out really well. It was pretty funny. Yeah. I said it a lot. I think 51 times.
That is a lot. That is a lot.
I'm also going to do one for fuck, and that one's going to be way longer.
Ooh, that one might get you in trouble.
My gosh.
That one's not going to be monetized.
I would watch that over and over.
Yeah.
So Jess,
that's fine. I don't need it to be monetized. Yeah.
Jess, there is a question for you in the chat, and it says, so who is the rebirth of Ilyena at the Amyrlin study?
Good question.
I mean, probably Elaine, right?
Oh, I mean, the name is even similar.
It's almost, it's
blonde,
just an anagram.
Pretty. Yeah.
Blonde and pretty.
And I mean, Eldrine and Egwene both look very similar to each other.
Dark hair,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right. So we, I feel like we're kind of coming to a natural conclusion for this stream. Does anyone have any further thoughts about Egwene and her trajectory in the show based on the changes that they have made so far in the show from the books? That's confusing. You know what I mean? Any other thoughts, predictions?
Yeah.
Jess, please.
Only that I am just incredibly excited to see where she goes, because Madeline Madden is brilliant as Egwene, and it's just like, oh, chef's kiss.
Literally.
I love her.
Just
she's
so
really
much.
Good.
You know, and especially what we saw from her in the White Cloak tent when she was confronting Valda. Like,
oh yeah,
fierce.
Yeah, that is the spine of steel that like is just waiting for a chance to come out, and I am here for it. Like, yeah, I'm just stoked.
Yeah, I guess.
Agreed. Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
I guess one question that I hope they change further later coming up in the show is that I do not want her to end up with Gawain. I want her to be queen.
You want to know what?
What?
I was going to say, I remembered what I was going to say before when I forgot, is that what I would really love is that for Egwene to figure out that she's ace.
Yeah.
She's what?
Ace.
She don't need a man.
Oh, yeah.
She don't want a man.
So
that'd be a good representation.
That would be cool. I think that if they do stick with Gawain, they're going to make him less of a douche canoe.
I hope so.
And when Armin Gaidon happens and everything happens with him, well, whatever happens between the two of them, it'll be in such a way that you're going to make it where you're going to feel her loss. They need to happen because that never really happened to me in the books.
Yeah.
Dude, dude was gone, and I was like, fuck yes. And we moved the
Finally.
along. Yeah, he's like, Jesus, no more of his ass. We're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point because I did not have a great deal of sympathy from the standpoint of, oh, she just lost her warder and husband. It was like, oh, good, he's fucking dead. Oh, man.
Yeah, moving
But
on.
that was badass. Like, I do like the idea of making, if they do go with Egwene and Gawain, I hope that they make him a better, not a perfect character, obviously, but, you know, a better character and someone that we can be invested in. I want him to be someone that will make us invested in their relationship. And I agree with you, Tavern Tavern, that do you go by Tavern or just Tavern?
Tavern's
Tavern.
fine. I'm not a
Who are you? Okay.
I'm a
Tavern.
builder.
You.
Just a builder.
I think that you make a really good point that we are going to need to be invested in him to really have that land.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, damn it, we can't quote YouTube, can we?
Oh wait, I
Best
can't.
line
No,
so
I
far
can't.
I've
But
seen.
yeah, Sith guy's
Owen
comments.
finally fucked around and found out was my thought.
He did. He did fuck around and find out.
Thank you, Sith guy.
Excellent comment. I'm not sure that they're gonna make her ace, even though I think it would be fabulous. Just because I feel like the chemistry and the like sexual tension and stuff between like Rand and her in the first season, it landed for me.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. Absolutely.
I could see her, like, I think it would be cool to make her more of a Rand in the sense that, like, maybe she has multiple guys that she's, like, hanging out with. You know, like,
I love that for
That would
her
work, too.
and for us.
Yeah,
They need to
same.
balance that out. They need to balance it out, and they need to show that not only the split between, I don't mean split in a bad way between Rand and Egwene. I mean they need to show their departure from each other to where they stand alone, and then go out and meet whoever it is they need to meet.
Yeah.
But I think they need to do that a little bit sooner, because to
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you, I was getting kind of tired of that shit. Season 1.
Yeah, I was over. I didn't actually like it.
Yeah, I was getting a little tired of that shit.
Okay.
Because he was like, she was his crutch, and
Yeah.
he was her anchor, right, to everything back home. And I kind of got it, but no, it went on too long.
Yeah. Oh, Pavara Tazanovi.
The way.
Oh, I was just
Oh,
gonna
sorry, go
say
ahead.
the Egwene Avienda ship. I don't hate it. I actually I thought they were
Yeah.
great together
They were
in
amazing.
book 4.
Yes.
So I'm into it. Sorry, Jess.
Go hard
ahead.
on that for sure.
As far as Egwene and Avienda goes, I get like big ride or die energy off of that, but I get like
Yeah.
big ride or die in bed energy from Elaine and Avienda.
I agree with that.
Like
Yeah.
Elaine and Avienda, I feel like are a
I
thing.
think they might explore
the-
that.
Yeah, I would love if they explored that because I mean, Rafe did say that he wants it to be more of a polyamory thing, not a polygamy thing.
Sure.
So you know that makes sense. But to Taviran's point about Rand and Egwene and like their whole situation, you know, I saw it more as Egwene was done and she was ready to be done and she wanted them to be able to remain friends or at least cordial. Rand is still hanging on to it, like he is not over it yet. And then when they boofed in whatever it was, episode 7, that was a vulnerable moment needing human connection with someone that you know and care about, because theoretically, one or both of you was going to die tomorrow.
It was the same
Like
thing.
that was
thing
the
to do.
vibe I got from that.
It was comfort. It was the
Yeah.
safe thing to do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
She wanted to seek comfort in somebody, and why wouldn't she go back to Rand? He's right there, and they have a history. So yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, so to kind of round out the stream, I think I'm going to ask Winespring. Do you have any further thoughts, hopes, dreams for Egwene in the series? Maybe you definitely want to see something that she did in the books, and it's this specific thing.
Yeah.
Or you definitely don't want to see something that she did in the books, and you want them to change it. Like, what do we got? Give me some of your thoughts here.
I want to see the moment when she opens the book for everyone of any age to come study
Oh, yeah.
as an Aes Sedai. That was really impactful. me. I remember like really loving that she decided to do that.
She just struck
Yeah.
ageism
That was
from
amazing.
the tower. I love that too. I think
Yeah.
that's fabulous.
Like, I can't wait. I really want to see that.
Yeah. And I mean, classism in a way too, because it's like you're a Wilder, bring it on, come on in. Like, we don't care. You got
Let's
turned away
go.
from the tower because they thought you were too weak. Come on,
Right.
Yeah.
you
true.
can learn. Let's do this. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
just like
Oh, I have chills. Ooh, thinking about it.
opening it to everyone. Yeah.
Come to the tower. We love you all. Yeah, no, I love her. She's so
We
progressive
love you all.
and just inspiring. And oh my gosh, don't we just love
Yeah.
Egwene?
She's iconic. Like, people are going to love her.
I think the people are going to love her. I completely agree with that.
Mhm.
So I guess
But if they don't, I think that you and I, Kritter, love her enough for everyone.
you're
So.
probably right.
Yeah.
I will continue to love her. Like it's what is the Celine Dion or Whitney Houston? Whitney Houston, I will always love you. That's me and Egwene.
Yeah.
I can't know. I don't have.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not gonna try it
Beautiful
because
Tavern.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that was. Okay, let me see if I get it right. And I will always love you.
clip it.
Welcome.
Send it to Twitter. I think we got our advertisement for this
Don't
VOD.
clip that shit. Do not clip that shit.
Clip it. And if you don't, then I will. So yeah, I'll come back again.
I've been
Okay.
tricked. Okay, we are missing something this episode.
What's up?
We're missing a staple of the Wheel and Chill show.
I think I know what you're talking about. What are you talking about though?
You haven't overshared.
I haven't overshared. You're right. I haven't overshared at all, have I? I don't know what to overshare. I feel like
What's on your mind tonight, Critter?
What's on your mind?
Talk
tonight,
to
Chris?
us.
what is
What's on your
my-
mind
Is it some
tonight?
weird eye drop thing or?
So I've the last like a couple weeks. So my husband and I discovered this chickpea based noodle company called Banza, and we have been eating
Yes.
countless. And
So good.
Winespring, you're not gonna like this. Because you like the vegetarian stuff, right? Or are you pretty good with meat?
I do. I like all of it.
You like all of
I
it.
eat
Okay.
everything.
So
She
we
likes all the
have
food.
discovered and have been incessantly eating turkey mac and cheese, like ground turkey mac and cheese. You know, like hamburger mac and cheese, like the thing you ate as a kid.
Yeah.
That's like a thing that I've been.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, Sears yelling at me. I've been eating that like nonstop for the last 2 weeks because it's easy. And I'm terrible at cooking, so now
It's
you know
delicious.
I'm bad at cooking. But I did discover a healthy hamburger mac and cheese, and it's with the Banza brand that has chickpea pasta. So oversharing achieved. Now that we've lost half our
Done.
our
done.
viewers, no, I'm kidding. There we have it. That's it though. So I think we.
Half of them logged off at turkey mac and cheese.
I don't know why you would, because it's incredible, but that's fine.
Ground turkey is delicious.
ground
you
turkey is
guys.
Ground
pretty good. I
turkey
actually
is-
like
It is.
the
It
way
is.
to go.
like turkey
I cook
bacon.
with it all the
It's
time.
actually really good too.
Turkey bacon is pretty good.
I don't mess with turkey bacon.
I mean, it's not as crispy.
The only problem I have with
I'm gonna eat real bacon.
only-
I like both. I like both.
the only problem I have with ground turkey is that you can't brown it the way that you can with ground beef.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't get the nice
that's
like
true.
sear on it when you're like browning meat. It's just bad.
You
Like,
got to
no-
start with
nobody-
the garlic and the onions first.
Nobody
and
wants
then
to
add
eat.
the
Yeah,
Nobody
turkey.
wants to
it's a
eat
good idea.
beige. Nobody wants to eat beige ground beef.
Well, you know what? That's what the mac and
It
cheese
does
is
look
for,
weird.
because it
does.
turns orange.
It does look undercooked.
Oh my gosh, Will Ev, I would never eat raisins in mac and cheese. I hate raisins. That is so disgusting.
Oh,
Why would you
no.
say
What
Wait,
that?
that sounds
monster
delicious.
are you?
Sounds very
stop.
good.
Stop. Who said that? Who said that?
Will
Why would you
Ev,
not eat
Raisins
that?
and mac and cheese?
pumpkin mac
Sure.
and cheese?
We have
I mean, it's like, cheese and quince paste. That's a thing.
What
No,
are we
Like
talking
sweet and
about?
cheesy.
We have moved
We have
on.
a-
Okay, yeah, this is
We have
where are we
moved on
going. This is not
from-
about going anywhere.
Hold on. We have a
Yeah,
Cuban
good
dish.
though.
Either of them.
We have a Cuban dish called picadillo, which is ground beef with like little chunks of potato and some other seasoning. It's freaking delicious.
That sounds good.
Somebody went and fucked it up one day. I went and looked for a recipe to make sure that I was getting it right, and there was one with raisins in it.
Oh,
Ground beef with
here's
raisins.
babooty. Has anyone tried that one? Oh, that's really good. It's ground beef with golden raisins and
Nothing with
think
raisins will
almost like
satisfy me. I'm not a raisins
yeah.
What's
person.
next? What's next? What's
over
next, you
golden
heathens?
rice. I think. Oh, I
You
haven't made it
heathens
in
are
a long
going to
time.
put pineapple on pizza? No.
Absolutely
I shall not
not.
have it.
With jalapenos, pepperoni, sausage,
Listen,
mustard,
okay.
Okay,
We're
all right,
hungry.
done.
We
done.
need to round the
It's
stream
like
out.
I'm ending the stream.
Okay. Caleb in the chat says, thank you for the stream. We love the flame of Tar Valon. I'm glad that you feel that way. I know Egwene is a controversial character, but she is much much loved by me and by Jess and by a lot of people. And so I'm really excited to see where she goes in the show, as I think we all are.
Me too.
And I just want to say thank you once again to Jess for showing up, being on the stream, being an incredible
Thank you
guest.
for having me.
Thank you for coming.
This is so fun.
You're awesome.
You were amazing.
Yeah, we
Very
like to talk about the Wheel of Time and chill.
So much spice.
So much spice, right? Also,
Yeah.
So spicy.
She brought the flame. She definitely brought the flame tonight.
she did bring the flame tonight. Winespring, as always, it was a pleasure. Tavern, amazing. The Wheel and Chill co-host strike again. I feel like the stream was lovely. Thank you, everyone in the chat. This was so much fun. Next time, who knows who we'll talk about? Maybe there will be another casting announcement, and then we'll talk about that. Either way, very excited about the ELYAS casting. If you missed it, it'll be at the beginning of the VOD once it posts. And that's about all I have. Anybody else have anything?
Real quick, I'm going to put a poll
Stay
out.
hydrated.
Stay hydrated, yeah. Don't burn yourself out.
Okay.
Last battle's coming. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to put a
Take care
poll
of
out
yourself.
on Twitter
Okay.
with a couple of different fan type things. Or not fan, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Not sure.
Different topics,
Oh.
Okay.
fandoms.
Possible
that you might want
topics
us.
for the show.
Yeah, possible topics for the show. So I'll throw in a couple of different fandoms on
Okay.
there and see what you guys want to hear, so that maybe we can talk about that. For example, I don't know, the Legend of Vox Machina.
Ah, so
which
good.
was freaking amazing.
Okay.
Peacemaker.
I'm not done yet.
You
Marvel.
inspired me. I think I'm going to do some
You
reactions
should.
to that.
It's so good.
Oh, it's insane. It's so
right,
good.
right after this, I'm watching the finale. So
Which that,
Enjoy,
is that
enjoy.
episode 12?
episode 12. Yeah, I'm really
I
excited.
haven't watched it yet. Oh, okay.
No, it's tonight.
I'm halfway through.
It's time. It's exciting. Okay, so that's it. We're saying thank
That's
you
it.
and goodbye, and you're all amazing, and this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Adios, adios.